Welcome to Thoughtful Planning, the place where real conversation, expert insight, and a touch of humor meet to turn our end-of-life uncertainties into self-assurance. I'm your co-host, Santiago, a history buff and a big kid at heart.
And I'm Honey, your guide through the intricate dance of planning with care and a whole lot of warmth. Every week, we're here to turn those intimidating "are we ready" moments into confident "everything is under control" moments. Today's journey is one you won't want to miss. Hi, welcome to Thoughtful Planning. I'm Honey.
And I'm Santiago.
Today, we're excited to bring you episode 17, an annual check-in to ensure your end-of-life plans are up to date.
So the essential question is, what are some reasons one should review their foundational documents for the end-of-life planning? Well, if you've been with us since the very beginning, you know how passionate we can be about helping you prepare for the future. Over the past year, we've learned so much, and we continue to learn daily. But those basic foundational documents, your foundation for your planning, will always be needed in some shape or form. Those documents include, but aren't limited to, a will or a trust, your advanced healthcare directives, and then those powers of attorney.
That's right, babe. And you might be thinking, I've got my will, I've got my power of attorney, and advanced healthcare directives. All done. I'm all set. I'm good to go. But it's crucial to review these documents regularly to reflect any life changes and ensure your wishes are current.
And speaking from experience, that's where we thought we were about a year ago when we started looking to God of Country for a vacation. Once we pulled out our will, we realized that we hadn't touched it in 7 years. We hadn't looked at our powers of attorney, our advanced healthcare directives. We hadn't looked at anything. Now, in doing our research, we found that we should be reviewing these documents every 3 to 5 years. But what we're planning to do is look at them annually, or whenever there's a major life change. So going back to that last year, 7 years ago, where we lived in a different state. We moved to Texas. We bought a home. We started a business. And those 3 reasons alone, each of them individually, would have been a reason to review all of those foundational documents.
Exactly, babe. And actually, those aren't the only 3 reasons. I mean, there's several different reasons. I mean, who knows? Maybe someone has a baby.
Somebody passes away.
Right. You have a divorce. Those are definite reasons to look at the
buy
documents.
Something. You buy a lot of property. Your finances change significantly for the positive or for the negative.
Mm-hmm. So if you're new to this journey, we encourage you to start with episodes 6, 7, and 8. That's where we interviewed Sean McCammon, an attorney here in Texas. We talked about those foundational documents in those episodes. For wills or trust, you want to check your state laws. But in general, it has to be signed and dated with at least 2 witnesses who are not your beneficiaries. Speaking of beneficiaries, you're going to want to make sure they're current everywhere you have them listed, such as on your investments, your insurance policies, bank accounts, anywhere you might have your beneficiary listed. Make sure that's your current beneficiary.
And make sure that you still want them as your beneficiaries.
Exactly. In addition, make sure your executor still wants to be listed. If you don't, a judge will name an executor for you, and you're not going to probably like what they choose.
Yeah, that's where your voice is taken away from you if you don't have that executor listed. And then don't miss episode 13, where we learned a little bit about elder law. Now, the things that we learned there just don't apply to the elderly. They apply to really everybody. Mm-hmm. And the importance of having your advanced healthcare directives readily accessible, keeping them in your glove compartment, your fridge, and your medicine cabinet with a named spokesperson and with your doctor. Make sure they have a copy of those. Make sure all those advanced health care directives state what you want, what you do not want. Ensure your prescriptions are correct and up to date. And again, I said it a minute ago, but make sure your doctor has a copy.
Right. So some important power of attorney documents you would consider, those would be your medical or financial documents. So you'll want to work with an estate attorney for your specific situation. So planning now while you're clear of mind and in good health is important. We started this journey to protect each other and our kids, and we want to share what we've learned with you.
This advice is for everybody, starting at the age of 18 and above. You might be thinking right now, I'm too young. I'm in good shape. I'm in good health. I don't need to worry about this. Well, I don't know if you've turned on the news lately and just watched. And every day you see a story about somebody passing at a young age due to an accident or an unknown health issue. In fact, this week we found out a student that graduated at my high school about 5 years ago passed away. And, that young man was, 23 years old. So take control of your life and estate, make things easier for your family, and ensure your wishes are known. So to our listeners, what we want to do is encourage you to find those foundational documents. Look for your will, healthcare directives, look for your powers of attorney. Review them. Make sure that if there's anything that's changed in your life, that it's reflected in those documents. Especially with your healthcare directives. Over this past year, I've changed how I think I want my life to end and where it ends. We've talked about it, Honey and I have talked about it with our kids, but make sure everybody knows. Make copies of those documents. Make sure your loved ones, your executor knows where they are. This is your time for action. It doesn't really take a lot of time just to look at those 3 categories of documents, but it's going to be a major step in gaining that peace of mind we always talk about, and in transforming yourself into a thoughtful planner who won't worry when that time comes.
Right. Because when that time comes, it's no joke. I mean, we've been through it. It's very stressful. There's no time to do all this extra stuff. The main focus comes on your fight, right? Your fight for your life. So don't forget to communicate also your wishes to your loved ones. It's okay to have these conversations. They're important. And also, I know we've done a podcast on the conversation, and yes, you want to be considerate of the situation before you have the conversation too, right? Making sure everyone is okay, but definitely make it a point to have that conversation.
Yeah, I know our kids weren't comfortable with us having that conversation, but they both understood the importance of the conversation. So they sat down and listened to what we wanted to tell them.
And lastly, if you have pets, I mean, we have our dog Tex. We love him. He's like our family. I mean, he is our family. He's our kid. He's our boy, right? You want to make sure you have arrangements for your pets, and then have at least not just one backup, but maybe 2 additional backups, so that your pet's cared for and they know what your wishes are.
And something that I saw when you put your packet together of those essential documents that you have in your car or you have wherever you have, make sure that you have some sort of note that says, hey, I have a dog at home. If I'm incapacitated, please check on my pet. That just makes sure that Tex in our case is going to be taken care of. So thank you for joining us in this little check-in. It's important to do. So circling back to that essential questions, what are some reasons one should review their foundational end-of-life documents?
All right. Until next time, remember, every chapter you write today shapes your legacy tomorrow. Thank you for joining us at Thoughtful Planning. Bye. And just like the vibrant hues of a setting sun, we're wrapping up another episode of Thoughtful Planning. Every shared story and insight is a step closer to turning uncertainty into celebrations of preparedness.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, remember that every surprise that comes our way is an opportunity to grow, adapt, and learn. Stay tuned for more stories, expert insight, and of course, a touch of wit in our next episode.
We're not just co-hosts, we're fellow travelers on this journey. For more information on additional resources, which will help you take the next step in planning, look for the link in the show notes for our membership. Join us next time for another episode of Thoughtful Planning. Until then, keep living, laughing, and loving every moment.